How's it going, everyone? I've received a lot of requests for a model and more top-down analysis. So for this video, we are going to go over the MMXM Trader's Twitter model. We will first look at what the model is, and then jump into a few examples using top-down analysis. MMXM drops a lot of information on his Twitter posts. Lots of great examples, and if you scroll through his feed, you'll stumble upon this post right here. So let's take a look at it. So this is the model we are going to be going over in today's YouTube video. This model includes skipping Mondays, focusing on the New York session only, executing on the 15-minute chart, using the economic calendar as your roadmap, and trading the day after your anticipated higher time frame level is hit. So let's go into this example here. So looking at the daily chart, we have this daily fair value gap as our draw on liquidity as noted here, and then we have a daily fair value gap above. This is Monday right here, so skipping this, we look at Tuesday. It reaches up towards our higher time frame level. Now, after we get a nice reaction off of this daily level, I'm looking for Wednesday to continue lower, taking the sell side liquidity and reaching for the draw on liquidity. Going into the hourly chart, you can see Tuesday, this is where we hit the daily fair value gap before getting an aggressive move lower. We have an hourly breaker. As we reach into Wednesday, price retraces back up into this hourly breaker, hourly fair value gap here, and moves away. Looking at the 15-minute chart, we have midnight open, and that was the move into the hourly fair value gap and hourly breaker, and the move away. As we head into the New York session, we have a 15-minute fair value gap here. Price reaches up into the consequent encroachment of this before delivering to the weekly open and eventually to the draw on liquidity below. So this is an example of the model, and I want to reiterate, skipping Monday, looking for when price reaches into that higher time frame level, looking the next day for the New York session 15-minute setup to deliver price. In this next example, we have a daily order block here, and here is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Thursday comes up, tests the daily level. With this closure, it's respecting it. So going into Friday, expecting to find short setups during the New York session. Going to the hourly chart, the important thing to note is the SMT at the highs here and this hourly fair value gap, as well as the sell stops resting below, which would be the draw on liquidity. With the news, getting this wick up, however, the bodies are respecting this fair value gap, displacement down, bearish order block, and then that is the entry there, going towards the sell stops below. Next, we are going to look at NASDAQ on the daily chart. So if you notice right here, we just put in equal highs. So that would be a target for the future. We have bullish structure, and so I'm expecting this week to be bullish. However, this is Friday. We're going to skip Monday. Now in a bullish week, I'd want to see an open, low, high, close. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, click this link right here. With that idea in mind, what do we have right here? We have some nice lows stacked right there, as well as a candle with no wick, which I like to target. We look at Monday. What did it do? Let's zoom in here a little. Monday took previous day's high, or Friday's high, closed back into the range. A next day move towards my draw on liquidity down here. So let's drop down to the hourly and 15-minute chart and see if there's something offered during New York AM session. So now that we are on the hourly chart, we can see we have our Friday's high right here that was taken out on Monday before aggressive displacement lower. And here is our draw on liquidity mentioned on the daily chart. Let's see what happens. We ran these stops right here, could not close above and get aggressive displacement lower. So letting this continue. We get a move up into this fair value gap and then back down. So let's go to the 15-minute chart before New York AM session and see what appears. So here's our hourly fair value gap. And if you notice with this candle close, we have a 15-minute fair value gap right here. So ideally, I'd like to see during open, price reach up into here and then make a move towards our draw on liquidity down here. And there you go. you can see our drawn liquidity was hit, and that is the move for the New York AM session. Going back out to the daily chart to see how this played out, you can see Monday took previous day high. We got a move towards this low. But what did we do once we hit our drawn liquidity down here? We came back in and closed back into the range. So now what can we expect for Wednesday, Thursday, or until we reach this high? We can expect expansion up. And even a little more expansion than expected. For this next example, we are looking at Euro USD, and you can see we have sell side liquidity right here in the form of equal lows. Looking in here, we can mark out previous week's high, because that is our Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's previous week. That's the high. Looking into Monday, letting that form. Similar to our latest NQ example, we took buy side liquidity and closed back into the range. So with this, we can expect next day to reach for lows. And you can see we have some lows right in here as well as down here, but mainly focused on New York AM session. So dropping down to the 1 hour chart. So here we are on the hourly chart on Tuesday, going to mark out the midnight open and let this play out and see if we get a setup for New York AM session. And here we are getting close to New York AM session, so I'm going to drop down to the 15-minute chart. You can see we had a fair value gap right here and a fair value gap right here, supporting bearish order flow, and we have another fair value gap right here. So ideally, get a reach into here before going lower. However, that does not occur, so with it exiting and getting this large move, later New York session mostly consolidates, so we will go to the next day. Tuesday we do get a move down, but no setup for New York session, so I'm going to look for Wednesday to have a continuation lower. Going back to the 1 hour chart. So now on the hourly chart, let's look to see what happens. Currently we have a large displacement candle down, and now we have a fair value gap, so we will go ahead and mark that out. And you can see how we retch above midnight open, but we're currently respecting this fair value gap right here. Right, so as we near the New York AM session, let's hop down to the 15-minute chart. So if you look right here, when we went above midnight open, we displaced down, and we have a fair value gap right here. Price respects. So from here, I would like to see a move towards this low. That is our current sell side liquidity before reaching for our old daily lows that we have marked down. Letting this play out. We get a move below that low, come back up into the fair value gap and continue lower. So we'll go back out to the hourly chart. You can see where we want to see these lows right here, and ideally those equal lows on the daily chart down here. Going back to the daily chart, we get a continuation and do end up taking those lows. For our next example, we are still on Euro USD, and I'm looking at this order block right here, letting Monday play out as this is Friday. You can see we stay inside bar and do not reach our higher time frame PD array. Tuesday, we do end up reaching into that PD array and getting a reaction off of it. So the next day, I'd want to look for a continuation lower, ideally for these lows, but we have yet to hit previous week's low as well. So here we are on the hourly chart, and we have our daily open marked out. We have sell side liquidity resting below, and then we have our daily sell side liquidity down there. So letting this play out, let's see what we get. And we get a pretty immediate drop off here. However, as we near the New York session, we come back into this range. So now we have engineered more sell side liquidity. Let's drop down to the 15-minute chart. So right here, we can see we have a 15-minute fair value gap right here, an old high in it. So that is a possible entry there. However, If we miss this one, we can still look for other entries. Right here, let's see if we get a fair value gap. We don't. However, we do have this old busy here. It should be used as the resistance. So I'd like to see price resist off of here before reaching for this sell side and sell side below. And there we go. We reach for sell side, retest previous lows, engineer more liquidity, sweep highs, then go. You can see how after we hit this order block, we take our initial sell side liquidity and displace all the way through these old lows. For our final example, we are going to take a look at GBP USD. So if you notice, make a smart money reversal right here. Order flow is bullish, and we have some highs resting over here. So marking out those highs as so. Let's zoom into the daily over here. So with this being Friday, and if I'm expecting a bullish week, I'd want to see an open low put in before expansion higher up into these highs, and as well as Friday's high before we put in a high in close. So letting Monday open up. Tuesday drop down, but what do? We respect the mean threshold of this order block here. So if we're going to get expansion in a classic Tuesday low week, I'd want to see Wednesday expand towards Friday's high and into these old highs. So with that idea in mind, let's go down to the 1 hour chart. Here is our midnight open, and as we make our way towards New York AM session, what do we have? Well, we have an order block or down close candle right at midnight, and then a fair value gap right here. So as we play this towards New York open, here on the 15-minute chart, you can see we also have a 15-minute fair value gap right here, which I will mark out in a box so we can differentiate the two. And let's see what happens here if we get a reaction. And so a pretty aggressive reaction so far, retesting midnight. And if you notice how no bodies close below midnight here. Now what do we get? An aggressive move out. That candle closes. We now have a fair value gap right here. Displacement out. And where do we want to see this expand towards? Friday's high as well as those highs. So let's see what kind of expansion we get. And there we go. We take Friday's high, stay in the range, and then we'll hop out to the daily to see how this week ended up. We made a move higher, engineered more liquidity at the highs for then Friday to reach higher. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks to MMXM for posting this model on Twitter, and I hope this cleared it up for some of you guys. If you did enjoy it, please consider liking and subscribing, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. See ya.